I'll tell you something that you probably knew but probably forgot. Isaiah Thomas was once among the best players in the NBA. In the 2016-17 season, this man finished 5th in the MVP voting, having elevated the entire Celtics franchise to become one of the best teams in the NBA. However, after just 3 seasons and while he was undergoing surgery for his hip, the Celtics management traded him for Kyrie Irving. The hip injury and the trade would usher in the Isaiah Thomas that we all know now, the Isaiah Thomas that everyone disregards and disrespects. In this video, we're going to break down how he became one of the best and how he fell to near irrelevance. The truth about the Isaiah Thomas situation is that he's still struggling. From the very beginning of his career, Isaiah has had to constantly prove himself before anyone would consider him. He's a 5'9" basketball player in one of the most competitive leagues in the world. To everyone, he was a short player, and Isaiah was aware of this estimation. He knew he had to work twice as hard before anyone would even begin to consider him. He knew he would have to overcome adversity to get a chance to be the player he wanted to be. When he was just a kid, his father, a die-hard Lakers fan, lost a bet with his friend. He said he would name his son after Detroit Pistons Hall of Fame guard Isaiah Thomas if his team lost to the Pistons in the 1989 finals. Well, his team lost, and Isaiah was burdened with the name of one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
I can't remember the game that it was. We were betting, and I made a bet that I would name my son Isaiah Thomas if the Lakers lost. And the Lakers end up losing.
In high school, he took up basketball and averaged an impressive 31.2 points per game as a junior. He announced that he wanted to sign with the Washington Wizards and soon after was given the chance. Thomas was such an impressive player that Nate Robinson, a former Washington Huskies star, personally gave him his blessings to wear his number 2 jersey. He showed up in an exhibition game against Western Washington and scored 27 points in 9 of 12 field goals and scored a season-high 27 points in a devastating 81-67 win over Morgan State. This came off another devastating defeat, a 74-51 beating, that he had helped his college team hand over to Florida International just a month earlier. Thomas was setting and crushing his records. It was beginning to feel too easy for him. As a true freshman, he averaged 15.5 points, 2.6 assists, and 3 rebounds per game, and was named Pac-10 Freshman of the Year. In his second year, Thomas's averages improved and rose to 16.9 points, 3.2 assists, and 3.9 rebounds per game.
Shot clock turned off. Game clock at 8. He's gonna do it himself. Thomas, shake, crossover, step back. At the buzzer.
Thomas continued dominating and winning games throughout his 3 years playing college basketball and was among the final 10 candidates for the Bob Cousy Award in his junior season. However, soon enough, Thomas felt he was ready for the big leagues, and on March 31, 2011, he declared for the NBA draft, foregoing his final year of college. Thomas would remember the 2011 NBA draft as one of the longest waits of his life. He said that he was scared that no one would pick him because of his height. He was banking on the Lakers draft call, and when he wasn't announced by them, he panicked. Thomas was eventually selected in the second round of the 2011 NBA draft as the 60th and final pick by the Sacramento Kings.
With the 60th pick in the 2011 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Isaiah Thomas from the University of Washington.
While this was a close call, he was grateful to be in and immediately went to work. Soon after, Isaiah was recording his first double-double with 23 points and 11 assists in a win against the Cleveland Cavaliers. By March of 2012, Thomas was named the February Western Conference NBA Rookie of the Month. This was as unbelievable as it was a testament to Thomas's undeniable potential. No one before him had gone to win Rookie of the Month after being picked last in the NBA draft. The next month, Thomas won the award again after dramatically improving his stats and averaging 13 points and 4.9 assists per game. He was also selected to the All-Rookie second team and finished 7th in the NBA Rookie of the Year voting. Isaiah Thomas's career high at the time was 38 points, which he racked up during a loss to Oklahoma City. And some days later, he repeated this against the Indiana Pacers. On March 18, 2014, he recorded his first career triple-double with 24 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds in a 117-111 overtime win over the Washington Wizards, which gave him the unique distinction of being the shortest player to ever record a triple-double in the NBA. During the 2013-14 season, Thomas joined Calvin Murphy, Dana Barros, Damon Stoudemire, and Michael Adams as the only players under 6 feet tall to average over 20 points per game and 6 assists per game in a season. Isaiah Thomas had arrived and could no longer be ignored. His stature was not holding him back, and he was more than determined to make his mark in the NBA. Thomas was humble, skilled, and immensely popular among fans. He would show up to city council meetings, and this endeared him to many fans. However, despite all of this, on the 12th of July 2014, Thomas was traded in a sign-and-trade deal to the Phoenix Suns. In his debut with the Suns, Thomas was victorious against the Lakers where he recorded 23 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound. Then he repeated this in the second game against the San Antonio Spurs, scoring 23 points once again and joining Tom Chambers, AC Green, and Tom Gugliotta as the fourth Sun to score at least 23 points in their first 2 games with the team. Thomas got an ankle injury soon after and had to miss 8 games, but that didn't stop him from getting back to his top form once he recovered. His prowess on the court got him announced as a contestant for the NBA Skills Challenge, making him the shortest contestant to ever participate in the event. When Thomas got traded to the Boston Celtics in 2015, he remembered being a little weary. It wouldn't be the first time that he would be used and dumped, as he would later learn. It wouldn't be the last either, but it did little to change how he initially felt about the trade. The Celtics team at the time were building themselves up and not at their prime, and Isaiah was tired of being tossed around. So he did what he did best. He leaned into the team and poured his all into the Celtics. This was the team, he thought at the time, that he would make his impact with and prove his worth. Thomas scored 21 points in his first match with the Celtics against the Lakers, even though they lost eventually. He was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. However, injuries kept coming back to haunt him. He didn't let them slow him down though, and even though he had to miss 8 games to recover, Thomas would still return a month after and score a season-high 34 points in a 113-103 win over the Detroit Pistons, and then won Eastern Conference Player of the Week again. At the end of the season, Thomas finished second in the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award voting with 324 points, including 33 first-place votes. Thomas, along with his teammates, rejuvenated the Celtics franchise. The fans became more joyful watching players play for the love of the game. Thomas himself would recall how honored he felt each time he had to get into the court to play. He became a centerpiece of a team that he could vouch for. He made the most of his 2 full seasons in the Celtics. Things looked like they were going to only get better and better. He gave his all to the team, a little more than it deserved, an example of just how passionate a player he was. When his sister died of a car accident in 2017, Isaiah had a game the next day against the Bulls and still played. He channeled his grief into the game and led the team to the conference finals until the worst happened.
Where are you finding not only the strength to play, but to excel in this hotly contested environment?
My family, my friends, they tell me to just keep going. My sister wouldn't want me to stop. The only thing about it is once I leave this gym, I hit reality and she's not here. So that's the tough part. But when I'm in this arena, I can lock in and I know everything I do is for her.
He got a hip injury in Game 2 and he was ruled out for the season. Thomas would never play for the Celtics again after that injury. In a surprisingly cold yet prudent move, the Celtics, after buying him low for a few years before, decided to sell him high, trading him for Kyrie Irving.
Cleveland's version of this is that they didn't realize how long Thomas could potentially be out this season. He's in the final year of his contract, and obviously that matches up with what will likely be the final year of LeBron's current deal.
The effects of the hip injury lingered still, and he never played as well again. After he was sold, Thomas would hop from team to team, playing a total of 86 games for 5 separate teams. At Cleveland, he was supposed to take Irving's place and help the team win their second championship in 3 years, but with time, it became clear that that was not happening. After 15 games, he was sent to Los Angeles. Then he played for Denver, then New Orleans, then Washington, and then the Pelicans. Through this chaotic journey between multiple franchises, the hip injury remained a constant snag for him. While he went into surgery while he was with the Lakers, it wasn't until he was at Washington that he began to feel like himself. Yet, he was still traded. The truth is that the Pelicans most likely called him just because of his record in Boston and Sacramento, because it's not an active market for point guards who have shot 38% over 3 seasons and are massive defensive liabilities. At the moment, Isaiah Thomas is a free agent looking to make a comeback with his NBA career. He says he feels better than he's felt in years. His long-term hip injury is behind him and he feels that he has nothing to prove. However, while he might be free from pain, everyone's concern is whether he can ever play on an elite level again. Funny enough, everyone who remembers his glory days is rooting for him, and hoping that he can recapture the magic that once made him one of the most loved and endearing players in the game.
Isaiah is the greatest basketball player.
Nostalgia aside, what we have seen in recent games he played with the Pelicans did not drive that point home. There have been a lot of obstacles ever since Isaiah decided he would play the game. His height was at the forefront of those issues, but now he has the double burden of his age. Isaiah Thomas is 32, and athletes over the age of 30 are hardly ever considered for comebacks. There was a time when Thomas could score points whenever he wanted. He was that good. Even when the defenders were all up in his face and he was mostly the shortest person on the team, he was still able to create openings for himself notwithstanding. His entire 5'9" would baffle all the players that were a shoulder or two above him. When he wanted to get to that basket, he got there. That was peak Isaiah Thomas, the one Celtics fans fell in love with. Those are the days he hopes to recapture as he finds a team that will take him in with all of his experience and all of his skills. Injuries set him back and made him lose millions, and would have made him lose his career if he wasn't as determined as he is. The hope is that the injury days are behind him, and that he can still make his mark in the NBA before he decides to finally call it quits and retire. Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot.
Advice I would give a younger player, I think the same advice D Rose gave me: don't fight it. Just take the punches, keep grinding, and it can't storm forever. And I think the biggest thing that I try to tell those young guys coming in is like, enjoy the moment, bro. That's one thing I wasn't able to enjoy when I was at the top.